What is going on, everyone? So starting off 2017, a lot of you guys have been asking me what kind of add-ons I use. So this video is pretty much dedicated to showing you what I use, and I'll explain like why they're important, so maybe you guys can have an idea of something new to get, I guess. So anyway, let's start it off with the add-on sheet. We'll try to go out or in order. So yeah, these are what I use, just in a nutshell. And I guess we'll start from bottom to top, just because some of these are really easy to explain and I can just get them done in like 10 seconds or less. So, sky shards. This one is very self-explanatory. It just shows you where all the sky shards are on the map. Now, for all you console players, I do feel bad, honestly, that you're going to have to like look up a guide or just like, I don't know, screenshot it or something. So, essentially, this shows you where all the sky shards on the map. You can see the collected ones, unknown ones, and essentially, I'll just show you what it looks like somewhere. So these things are the sky shards. It shows you where they are everywhere on the map, and even in delves. So, that one's very self-explanatory. It's a good one just because sky shards are important, as you may imagine. Next one, we have Raid Timer. Now, I understand not everyone is going to be using this one, simply because this one is for like veteran trials. Pretty much it just shows you the timer, how long it takes, and what your potential raid score is. So, without this, I will show you what it looks like. So right here, it shows you your total time and then raid score. So in some of my videos of like my Maelstrom or Dragonstar, you can see this in action. Essentially, once the dungeon or the trial starts, it shows you your time, and then your raid score will start ticking down. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's kind of cool to indicate if you're like a competitive person and you want to see your score. Keep in mind, raid score doesn't show your vitality bonus, whereas if you're in the trial, it'll show you what everything is at the bottom. But if you want like a live countdown for your score, that's what it is. And yes, I thought it was pretty cool. So, with that said, let's turn these off since we're not using it. And then it also has a hard mode calculation, so that means if you do hard mode trials, it adds 40,000 points to your total score, which is something a lot of people don't know. If you do a trial and you do hard mode, add 40,000 to your score. That's how people get higher scores. And then obviously you can change all the everything else, like font and color. Next, we have Minimap. It's a mini-map. It's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, there's a lot of customization. You can move it around everywhere, resize it to how you want. You could take up like half the screen if you actually wanted to. I would not recommend it. Change font settings, map position, like the icons on the map. So essentially what this is like if you click this, you could like zoom in, zoom out of the mini-map. It shows you where everything is. So the reason why I have this is, one, it saves me time so I don't have to press M over and over. And that's kind of nice. Especially in some dungeons like Cradle of Shadows. You'll notice that sometimes you'll have to like go through certain areas and you won't have the split second to actually hit your M button. So if you're good, you don't actually need the mini-map. If you're bad, then it does help, like myself. So it just helps overall. Anyway, Minimap, there's a lot of customization. You can move it wherever you want. Pretty neat. Pretty cool. Alright, anyway. Next on our list is Master Merchant. Now, this one is a very unique one because I feel like a lot of you guys have heard of it and know exactly what it is, but it's something that's not exactly the easiest to explain. So, when you see an item somewhere, for example, you see the MM price at the bottom, you could see how much things cost between like 10 days, 20 days. You could customize it. It essentially tells everyone, or it tells you what the average market price is. However, the catch for this one is it really only calculates what sales have been for your current guilds. So if you are in a lot of trade guilds, you get a more average price, a more accurate. But if you aren't in any trade guilds, your price might be like way off the charts. And yeah, so in chat, what it does as well, like let's take this item for example. As you guys can see, if someone, it says 100 gold for the average price. Now, what you could do is, let's say someone asks for a price check, you could link the stats to the chat, and what essentially it does is it shows you, it puts the link, so if someone asks for a price check, it just shows you what it is, so you can help people out with that. So that's always an interesting one. And what it also does, I'll just take this guild for example. It's actually one I'm part of, so I'm right here. So let's take these listings for example. You can see, let's go browse like random stuff real quick. So let's say the other things that people have, it tells you what their selling price is and what the average market price is. So if you are a merchant or something trying to like flip items for higher, you would buy things cheap and then resell it occasionally. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Master Merchant gives you the average market price, and then it's pretty neat to have. However, the only thing is you have to be in some trade guilds to get an accurate price. And then of course, there are notifications, like if you want to see what sold when, if you want an alert sound, that's always cool. If not, you can turn that off. You can see how many sales have been within a day range, or like 20 days, 10 days. If you want, you can have it up to 90 days, but the lower the better usually. That's more accurate. And then these are all like optional if you want like graph or something. So yeah, Master Merchant, a pretty unique one. Now, Mailer. This one is one that I found recently. It's not new, but it's pretty unique and it's very simple. So, as you may imagine, in-game, there's no reply. If someone sends you a mail button or sends you mail, there's no reply or forward button, just like in regular emails. So, what this one does is adds the reply and forward button. So, let's say someone sends you a mail and you want to reply to it. Normally, these buttons wouldn't be here, and unfortunately, we would have to like manually mail them back. So with the reply button, you could just instantly get their name, build, and then just type it. So what's also unique is if you want to forward something, you could just have their original message, and then you could just like forward it just like a regular email would. That's pretty neat. So, yeah, that's what Mailer does. I thought it was very handy, just because if you are someone that gets a lot of mails and you just want to reply to people fast without having to, like, type in their @name manually again, Mailer is a really good one. It's very simple, too. That's really all it does. It adds a reply and a forward button, just kind of like in regular things. Now, LUI Extended. Now, this one, it's probably going to take the longest to explain because LUI has a lot of options and customization. So essentially, this is my UI. Right here, this is what you can change from the default. Everything right here you see, all the buffs right here, and like enemy health bars, you can see like their health bar right there on the other red bar. All that is the LUI. So let's go over all the customizable options. So info panel, let's go with this one first. Let's say you want to show your FPS. This is what it does. I'll turn everything on just so you guys can see it. So I know it's clustered everything. If you want to show your FPS, like the Imperial City things, bag space, and all that stuff, it's kind of cool. But most of this stuff you could just turn off, and it tells you when you could feed your pet again. And yeah, but for the most part, I just like to have the timer and my soul gems, and then that's pretty cool. So next on our list for LUI is the combat info. These are kind of cool options. It gives you an alert when your ultimate is ready. You can turn that on and off. Display cooldowns, hide percentage when full. It just gives you a little notification when things are like ready to cast. You can change the font, scrolling text if you like. I personally don't like having the scrolling text. I find it like distracting, and it kind of clogs up half of your screen. So it's just like, I like the numbers in a way, but not too like scattered on my screen. I like to actually be able to see the screen when I'm playing the game. That's kind of cool. So that's pretty much what that is. Buffs and debuffs is pretty much everything you see. So like you see at the above my mini map, like you'll see it right here. all my buffs. Let me just add some things to that. And then you see at the bottom of my health bar, if I toss down other buffs, and then you can see all the buffs ticking down at any time. That's pretty much what it is. Alright, so next. It shows you long-term buffs, short-term buffs. That means like food, disguises. One thing I thought was kind of questionable. I always have it off, but you can see whether people are vampire or werewolf. Now, you may be wondering, why is that important? Well, in PvP, if you're a vampire, you take more fire damage. If you're a werewolf, you take more poison damage. So, being able to see whether people are a vampire and werewolf is kind of cheap. I personally wish they would have that removed, but I mean, I don't use it, so that's kind of why. And I also, really, I don't PvP that much either, so I really don't care to see whether people are what. So anyway, that was pretty much it. You get to see buffs, and that's what this thingy was. Damage meter and combat log. This is something that is right here. This is the little double sword, health, and shield. So this is what it shows you your damage. This is just healing that you do, and this is how much damage you take, and this is your timer. So that's what it is. Let's go find a enemy real quick, or is there just like a critter somewhere? Oh, gotta take this. Alright, let's go find an enemy somewhere. Is there an enemy anywhere? I'll just show you what it looks like. I'm pretty sure if you've watched any other of my videos, this is essentially what it sounds like. It's a damage meter. Alright, we're just gonna go find something real quick to like shoot it with an arrow. So yeah, you see the damage thing you go off? That's what it is. And it just pretty much shows you your damage over like fights and stuff. And let's say if someone wanted to see what your damage was, you could link it in chat by just clicking it, or you could hotkey it, and it tells you your damage and your average time, or your time, total damage, and average of what enemy it is. So that's pretty cool. And then this one, it also shows you the damage meter, what your damage was. So pretty much my Veladreth proc for that much, my light attack for that one, and then the incoming damage per second. So this one, IPS, is incoming damage per second. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So having a damage meter is really helpful in tracking how you're performing. And then chat announcements is pretty much literally what it sounds like. It'll show you announcements in your chat. So like if you spend money at a vendor, it'll tell you how much you went down or up. Timestamps. I'm not sure if this one even works, to be honest. Like if you just, I don't know, have a timestamp. But anyway, you could also see group member loot, which is kind of shady in a way, but I mean, there are other add-ons that do a better job of this. But if you just want to see what other people are looting in your group, that's what it is. And then experience gain, trophies, it tracks achievements, everything else. That's pretty interesting. Now, LUI, the unit frames, is more of the bars and stuff of the customization. So what this one is pretty much if you don't want your default like green, blue, red health bars, you can change everything. This is where you would do it. If you want like raid bars, so in raids, there is a unit one that's like up here. It's like a huge rectangle, and if you want it like a line down, it looks kind of different. You could always change that one. Boss ones, you could track the health of different bosses. So on your screen, it'll be like right here. And during raids, you can always like space it out, customize. That's pretty much all it is. If you want different colored bars and everything else, this is essentially what it is. Now, Lost Treasure. This one is a unique one that I found recently, and it pretty much just shows you where all the treasures are in the map, so you don't have to like Google a video or something every time. So essentially what it is, let's say I have a Rift treasure map, You know how this helps you? If you go to the Rift, it'll show you an X on the map. It shows you exactly where it is. It's like the add-on essentially scans your inventory to see what kind of treasure maps you have. So if you collect a lot of them and you don't want to Google a video, you just get this add-on. It tells you exactly where it is. So I'll just go over here and like show you, just to show you that it works. All right, so we have just ported in right here. Our treasure map is like right here somewhere. Oh, what do you know? The little thingy, you dig up your dirt mound and you got your treasure. There we go. That's essentially what it does. It marks it on your map so you don't have to Google a video or YouTube it. Alright, so next on our list is inventory grid view. Now I like this one. This is definitely personal preference, but this is your inventory. I'm going to show you what it looks like on default. This is your default inventory. Do you know why some people don't like it? Because you have to scroll down every single time to see what you want, especially if your inventory is like almost maxed out at all times. You won't be able to see, like, you have to scroll down every time. So if you want to see everything at once, this is how it is. And it tells you, like, it shows you the colors of your like the quality color, gold, blue, and all this stuff, potions. So that's essentially what it does. You can customize it, make it bigger, smaller, however you like it. Just customize how you like it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Buff timers, you could set how many bars you want. I feel like the less, the better, honestly. But the way I have mine set up is what the important buffs I have are. So right now I have Hurricane, Crit Surge, and Endless Hail. Essentially what you're going to see is right here in this area, you're going to see that the buff timers. So like, let me cast everything. So that's what I have. You see the little green ticking rectangle bar? That's what buff timers is. It's a huge thingy on your screen that tells you when things are going to cast. Now, I understand it's right here as well, but if you just want a huge bar with colors, that's kind of what it is. And for people like me, when you're doing like raids and stuff, dungeons, you're going to have more than your own buffs. Like, let's say you're doing a dungeon, you're going to have party buffs up. So if you want to see the important ones that you cast, that one is very helpful. So you can customize all of this. Let's say, for example, you need a notification for something. You can have a sound, or if you have a text, like you can have something show up on your screen. Let's say Hurricane. Let's just say, like, let's do something right here, and then Hurricane. And then when that counts down, there should be like a notification on your screen when it gets lower. Wait, hold on. I'm an idiot. Hold on. Showed text notification. There we go. So once we go down a little bit closer to recast timer, or once it ends, it should just pop up a huge notification on your screen. Yeah, like that. So just in case you need a double notification or something, you could do that. But for the most part, just looking on your screen for the most part will help you like, see. Hey, if you see the green bar going down, recast it. But anyway, that's what buff timers is. I thought it was very handy. And then awesome guild store is essentially what we've shown before. I'll just go to like some we'll go back to East March real quick. So the way awesome guild store works is, this is the UI of it. So it allows you to, I think the main reason why most people have it is, one, to have the text filter. Now the default UI for going to guild traders is you have to like search things up manually, which you can still do technically if you wanted to. But I mean, the point of having this is so you can search text things. So like, let's say I wanted, I don't know, let's look up purple and gold deals. What this does is it shows like what level the items are. You can set a price range. You can set the item quality like white to legendary. Unit price, like how much for like a stack of things. And the most important one, you can search an item by text, which is something the game should have had it by default. And if you want to search like gold deals and something, so one moment as this loads it, and then like if there's an option in there where you could just auto like show more results. Sometimes it takes a while. You have to go through many different pages, which takes time, but you really just don't have to do anything. You just have to sit there. Sometimes it doesn't have it. Oh god, I accidentally stole something. But yeah, this is essentially what it is. It changes the default, and then it shows you the like range. So if you have Master Merchant, which we covered earlier, it also tells you like, is it a green deal? Is it red is bad, as you may imagine? Green is good. Blue, anything higher than that is always like very good. So sometimes searching for purple and gold deals is tricky because that means people are like very underpriced, or people are underpricing items. So that's something you have to look for regularly. So essentially that's what it is. Awesome guild store. You could sort everything out. There's a lot of options you just turn on or off, and you can have all that. So list custom icons, single click, all that stuff. It's pretty neat to have, just mostly for the text. And yeah, that's pretty much all the add-ons I use right now. Hopefully, if you are playing this on PC, you learned something and found something interesting you might want. Gotta have that. Must have Ruby Ash. Worth. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. These aren't the only add-ons I've tested, so if there's something you use or you want to know more about, feel free to let me know. I'll let you know if I've used it or not.